War. War never changes.
What's up, wastelanders? Boys and girls, prepare to be astounded, bedazzled, and otherwise stupefied.
You talk a lot. Sound funny when you talk like a stupid human. I am online once again. Tremble, world, before my electric heating coil of doom.
What's up, Wastelanders? Hello and welcome to Tapes from the Wastes, a Fallout fan podcast bringing you gameplay discussions, lore talk, and all things Fallout and Fallout adjacent. I'm a little bit far away from my microphone here, so it might be a bit quiet. Oh, very professional podcaster. How do I turn this up? I think this should be okay. If it's not, I've got quite a bit of room here to boost it. I don't know why I'm talking about technical stuff. You're not interested in that. Yeah, so this, what am I doing? What's the intro? Hello, I'm one of your hosts, KDB. And as always, later in the show, you will hear from my co-host Eric, aka Sulior. And I tell you now, Eric has a bumper segment today. He's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this show recently, and that trend continues. I've definitely got some stuff to go through and talk about in this episode, but yeah, Eric has got a bumper section today where he's going to have lots to talk about. Today's episode is primarily us getting into our thoughts on the recent Ghoul update to Fallout 76, but we also have some news and some other gameplay chat as well. But first of all, how are you all? How is everyone? Hope you're all doing okay. It is a beautiful, hot, warm, but chilly, breezy day in the UK. Spring is in full swing, which is obviously very exciting. Everyone's a lot happier now the sun is out. Sorry, my emails are popping off as I'm recording. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, the weather is lovely. We're fully out of winter now, and we've been enjoying some extended sunshine here in the UK, which just is a great way to make you feel better about life in general, right? So hopefully it's pretty good where you are as well. We are in the midst of a 2-week holiday break. It's the school holidays here, so my son is off school. That doesn't mean I get 2 weeks off work. With the way, the way that holiday and annual leave from jobs works in this country is there isn't really enough allocated annual leave to cover the time needed to look after your kids when they're off school. So my wife and I have to juggle holidays and being off work and working, and then some days the kid is just fending for himself. So yeah, so it's a very busy time of year where it should be nice and relaxing because we're on holiday. I say on holiday, we're not going anywhere. And I know American listeners, for you, I mean vacation. We don't really say vacation here in the UK. We just call it holiday. But I've been still working very hard, and over the next 2 weeks I've got a couple of days off work here and there, but like I say, I'm mainly extra parenting duty because the boy is not at school, which is fine. I've just done 6 days work in a row as well, which is rough, but what that means is, with everything going on and how busy I've been, this episode is out about a week later than I wanted it to be. Originally, Eric and I were going to get together to record this, in one of our face-to-face Zoom call, Discord call discussions. But to be honest, my schedule has been all over the place. And I say to him, as much as I would like to get together, and I love doing the discussion episodes, I just can't commit to, a time and a date because everything's always changing and moving around. So I didn't want to say, yeah, we'll do it Friday night or Saturday afternoon, and then something comes up. And evidently something has come up, like, quite frequently. And I've been working extra, so... And what is it today? This is a day where I have been off work, but looking after my son, and now I've got like 45 minutes before, we prep dinner and get ready, and evening routine and all that. So my 45-minute window of quote-unquote free time today is being used to cram in this section of the podcast. So I do apologise that this is late. I mean, we're not necessarily an up-to-the-minute Fallout podcast. We don't put an episode out every week. We put one out when we're ready and we feel like we've got something to say. So I do appreciate everybody, as always, for listening and tuning into the show and hearing what we've got to ramble about. So again, just thank you as always. My chair is squeaking as well. I'm sorry if you can hear that. I'm using a different microphone today because of the quick nature of this recording. But I'm not going to rush it. Like I say, I've got 45 minutes. I'm going to try and take my time. Then I've got to edit it and put it together somehow. That'll probably happen later tonight. What was I saying? Yes, we will get to the main event of the episode, which is kind of talking about the Ghoul update for 76, which is obviously huge news. Like, this is big news for Fallout 76. And Eric is definitely going to... He's got a real deep dive into that. He's covered, I think, all of the mechanics of it and stuff. So I'm not going to go all over that. I'm going to give you my thoughts and then hand over to him for a bit more of a deep dive into it, where he can cover all the real juicy details. But we do have a couple of other things to touch on before we get to that. And yes, believe it or not, there is some other Fallout news. I think we had news last episode as well, right? It's always good. We clutch at stuff, we clutch at straws sometimes, but there is some big news. So this is some huge news, actually. I hope you're sitting down for this. Let me open the link here. Okay, so this is an Inside the Vault update from the Fallout website. Are you ready? Fishing in Appalachia. It's coming. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Fishing in Appalachia. At least it's coming to the public test server right now. So... us lowly console players. Well, I say us lowly console players, as mentioned on a previous episode, I do now have a PC and I can play Fallout 76 on my PC. I have no idea how you get into the public test server. This is how ignorant I am to the PC ecosystem these days. Public test server, I guess that means anyone can jump in. I have no idea. I know some friends on other shows that Eric is often on other shows, other Fallout shows. I know that they're always talking about the public test server, so you can get all that information from there. It's not something we generally take part in, but this is the big news, long awaited. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but this is quite fun. So here we go. Where is this? Welcome back. Ghoul activities are in full swing, but we hope you're really, and that's REELY, excited to get a look at what the team has coming for the next major update in Fallout 76. It's time for the public test server for our fishing patch. Casting off. Welcome to Fisherman's Rest, a new location in the Mire where you'll begin your fishing adventures. Here you will meet a new trio of new characters: Captain Raymond Clark, a mysterious new figure who goes by the name The Fisherman, and Linda Lee, the fisherman's pet hermit crab, which this is incredible. Good luck talking to the fisherman, though. Doesn't seem like they speak our language. Oh, and don't be alarmed when you find out that Linda Lee is a giant hermit crab who's taken up home in Captain Clark's old fishing boat. Something seems off about this location. Anyways, during the casting off quest line, you'll receive your first ever fishing rod, allowing you to walk over to the nearest body of water and start fishing. When trying to decide where you can fish, remember the mantra: if I can swim, then I can fish. Do note that the fishing rod won't appear in your Pip-Boys menu, as it's not an item you need to equip. When you're ready and looking at a body of water, the fish command will appear on your screen. The fishing rod will show up in your weapons workbench menu, so you can modify it though. To start the new casting off quest, headline to the Mire region. Yes, so then there's some stuff here about upgrading your fishing rod, bait that you have to use to catch fish, the weather and how that can affect the type of fish that that you can catch, how you can use it for food, and flaunting the catch. What's this? So fish displays that you can show in your camp as well. So yes, this is obviously incredibly exciting. I'm kind of half joking. I mean, this is fun. Do I care about this? Absolutely. I mean, sure. I'm always happy to see Fallout 76 getting new features and support. We've said it before. The game persists, and I love that it does. And I've got more to say on 76 and what keeps me playing it, when I get to the Ghoul section in a bit. But this is fun. Like, live service games coming and going, and here's Fallout 76. To me, I feel like the fact that they can add a fishing mini game, if you like, or a fishing quest, a fishing feature, tells me this game's doing just fine. The fact that they can justify adding a feature that maybe 10 people are going to use, that's an exaggeration. Obviously, lots of people are going to use this. What's the current Fallout 76 Steam charts? How many people are playing it at the moment on PC? Good Lord. Okay, this is way more than I expected. I thought the last time I checked... Wow, this Ghoul update has given the game a huge flipping bump. Because I was like, oh, Fallout 76 on Steam is like around like the 6,000, 7,000 mark usually, like quite comfortably. Sometimes it goes more to like 8,000 to 9,000. There was obviously huge peaks in July last year when the show, you know, May, June and July when the show premiered. But yeah, I was always thought it's around 6,000, 7,000 mark. And of course, the Steam charts do not account for consoles, of which we know there are many Fallout 76 players. But just looking at this, so last 30 days, average players was 8,329. Currently, in a 24-hour period, 14,403. So yeah, peak players... Okay, so that's average players. Yeah, that's actually pretty solid. Okay, yeah, so I've misunderstood. Looking at the players in the past for 76... And sorry, I'm completely sidetracking right now. Average players, as I say, around 6,000, 7,000. But generally, peak players in those months, yeah, it's 15,000, 16,000, 15... That is such a solid player base. This is what I mean. People out there that still want to give shit to Fallout 76 have no idea. This is a very healthy player base. And my point being that the fact that adding fishing, this tells me that they can justify, you know, this takes work, adding these characters and adding this feature. It costs money to do that from the game dev side. So clearly they're like, yeah. Because to me, I see this and I'm like, this isn't a feature that's going to sell Fallout 76 to anyone. But it is super cool that they're adding it and it's fun. And it just expands the breadth of the game and everything you can do. So to justify adding it this late in the game as such a small feature, yeah, they must be confident with how this game is doing. So yeah, I'm always happy to see it. Do I care? Yeah, I care. I will definitely try it out when it comes to consoles, or if I figure out how to join this test server. That's fine. I'm happy to wait till it just rolls out for everybody. And it's going to make for good photos and stuff like that. So yeah, it is awesome, and I'm very happy to see this. So as far as Fallout 76 goes, it's firing on all cylinders right now for the most part, with the Ghoul update and the new season and things like this coming to at least the test server for now is really cool. So just wanted to point that out. Fishing, hugely requested feature, finally in 76. So that's very cool. What else do we have? So nothing in the way of official real Fallout news. Let me just quickly check I didn't miss something. They're running a radiation camp contest, which if you go to the Fallout website, you can have a look now. And you can basically win atoms. So I don't know if I think this is the one, is this potentially just open to people in the US? Yeah, I did hear about this. I might have been listening to the Fallout feed possibly last week where they mentioned this. Yeah, this radiation camp contest is only open to people in US and Canada, which is a shame. Don't really understand that these days in the digital world where everything is instantaneous. So, but you know, what do I know about running a massive game development studio and its marketing? Clearly nothing. But thanks for leaving us out over here in the UK. Do I sound bitter? Oh, not really. I'm not really fussed. I probably wouldn't enter this competition. Anyway, other news, which I do want to touch on, not directly related to Fallout, but directly related to a previous episode topic. Now, the Switch 2 got revealed. I'm not here to dissect the Switch 2 reveal and everything that came with it. My other show, Gaming Aroma Podcast, which I haven't recorded yet, I planned to do maybe today, but it's probably at this rate going to be tomorrow. I was going to do a bit of a deep dive on my thoughts with Switch 2 and some other stuff, because I haven't done an episode for a couple of weeks now. But that will be coming. Come and listen to Gaming Aroma if you're interested. But I wanted to flag this. I wanted to raise it because the Switch 2 got revealed. No Fallout with it. Not yet. No Xbox games at all, actually. And we have, both Eric and I have voiced our opinion that we think, even the Nintendo Switch, we're frustrated that there's never been a release of one of the older games, a double pack for Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Whether the original Switch can run Fallout 4 is kind of up for debate, but I think certainly, we got Skyrim, so you're telling me it can't run Fallout 3? I'm pretty sure that it would have no problem doing that. But with Switch 2 on the horizon, we put an episode out, dedicated it pretty much, saying it is time for Fallout on Switch, and now is a better time than ever. The Switch 2 is coming, more powerful. It's what, PS4 level power, not quite PS4 Pro. I don't know. I don't fully understand it yet, but we could have ports of Fallout on there. And I did think that with this Switch 2 reveal, we were going to see a bit more. We definitely saw third party, but we didn't see any of this rumoured Xbox stuff that's supposed to be coming. Master Chief Collection, Gears of War, all this that are looking to find their way to Switch 2, which I'm very excited about. And I was thinking, I can't wait for them to reveal Fallout. I'm telling you now, I will buy Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Fallout New Vegas again to have them on the Switch. No problem. Now, there is this question, and a big part of me wants to buy them so that they're physical editions on the cartridges. There is a big question about, are they all going to fit? I'm sure Fallout 3 and New Vegas would fit on the new cartridges in terms of size. And this is very boring tech talk, I get it. But, main appeal, a lot of the appeal about the Nintendo Switch, at least the current Switch, is that most, if not all, the games are on the cartridge. They are physical copies. They don't need downloads. They don't need anything like that. I think maybe a very small amount of games do. So you knew when you're buying that game off the shelf, or the internet, or some online shop, wherever you buy it from, you get that game and you put it on your shelf and it's there. No one's going to take it away from you. You don't need to be online to play it. You can play it. That's going to be less likely now, especially with third party and the larger games that aren't going to fit on the cartridges. And that's, you're not guaranteed to be getting a physical edition of a Switch 2 game. But my hope is that, Nintendo wanted to get their key reveal out the way. They've got the main stuff about Switch 2 out the way. Their key third-party exclusives, I guess. They also, they showed off Elden Ring, which made me laugh. It feels like Elden Ring coming to the Switch was probably part and parcel with the deal of this new The Duskbloods thing, and it was like, you need to let us find a way to get it on Switch for maybe a discount rate or something. I don't know, because it was interesting to see them bringing Elden Ring to the Switch too. I don't understand how well that's going to run. Same for Cyberpunk as well. But so we saw some key third-party stuff, but nothing from the other platform holders, nothing from PlayStation or Xbox. PlayStation previously had showed off stuff. There was a couple of their small games, Everybody's Golf and one of the other ones were shown at the previous week's Direct. But nothing from Xbox, and I was really hoping we'd get something from Fallout. But maybe they've got all that out of the way, and closer to the launch of the Switch, we're going to start seeing more third-party games pop up now. They're going to allow what I would say less important third-party, stuff that is just a bit more. I'm kind of struggling the best way to articulate my point, but the stuff we saw on the Switch 2 reveal is clearly the stuff that is most important to them. It's the big things they want to get out, and there was lots of great stuff to look at. Obviously, like many people, I am kind of up in arms about the software price. Like the hardware price, is no big issues really with the cost of the console from me. It's maybe a little bit more expensive than I want to pay, but that's the world we live in these days. The game costs are outrageous, to be honest, and but I'm going to save that for another day. Save that for Gaming Aroma. So no Fallout on Switch yet. I think I would like to believe it's going to happen. This Oblivion rumored Oblivion remaster. Remakester. Sorry, that's right. That's what we're calling it, a remakester. I believe Jessica Starr coined that, right? If that's coming, I would assume that's going to be on the Switch too, but maybe it's not. If it's Unreal 5 and maybe it's too powerful, I don't know. It demands too much. Who knows? But so they're porting old games. They're doing stuff with old games. They have to. And with no new Fallout on the horizon, I'm kind of on record saying that I think we will get a new Fallout game before 2030. I feel like there was stuff last year. I need to go back and listen to what I said about it, but the show definitely will have given them a shot in the arm and given them pause. And I'm pretty sure Todd Howard is on record saying they have restructured some of their priorities or work. I can't remember the phrase he used, but there was hints that told me whether it's them making it or whether it's Obsidian or whether it's another studio, someone is going to be pumping something Fallout out before 2030. If it's not before 2030, it'll be late 2030, 2031. As soon as possible, a big Fallout game will be coming our way. But I think it will, because also I don't actually believe that the next Fallout game will be kind of recognizable as what we're used to for a Fallout game, just because of how demanding it is. And I don't know if I touched on this show, probably on Starfield Sandwich, the Starfield show that Eric and I do. I'm not going to get into a big rant about this, but it is amazing to me that... So Bethesda are a bit of an outlier here with their games that they're making. Because we know that live service rules the world. We know that multiplayer rules the world, and lots of people are playing old games. The fact that a studio is able to have free reign and create... Starfield came during the transition, what I would say is the transitional period. They were already working on it, and it's like, yeah, it's very much of the old model. I'm extremely curious to see what the Elder Scrolls 6 is. And in a weird way, as big as Bethesda's games are, the Elder Scrolls 6 will be smaller than Starfield. So it's like, yeah, although I'm kind of shocked that they're being allowed to make the Elder Scrolls 6, it also probably isn't as ambitious as Starfield, so they can kind of get away with it. Similar for Fallout 4, not as ambitious as Starfield. However, there's a lot riding on it in terms of brand name and the success of the franchise and the boost it got last year. And the point I'm trying to make is a lot of time and money is required to create these Bethesda games now in the way that they want to. And is Microsoft, is Xbox, is Bethesda in a position to justify that when nobody's buying the games? That's not true. Of course, people are buying the games. Right. Again, I'm kind of getting away from myself here, but lots of people bought Starfield on Steam. Millions more played it on console, quote unquote, for free on Game Pass. We don't have the exact numbers. Maybe lots of people did buy it on console, and they're fine and they're happy with the sales. But, you know, there's this thing about talking about player numbers. Ubisoft just did the same for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Player numbers, not sales, because lots of people are subscribing to Ubisoft Plus to play it. The models have changed. The justification for making these games is harder than ever because they take longer than ever and require more work. So I'm amazed that Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5, or whatever that is going to be made. I'm curious to know what Fallout 5 is. Look at what FromSoft are doing with the PvP games and Elden Ring Night Rain. You know, franchises are being milked in other ways. And what I'm trying to say is, because of all that, I believe we will get a new Fallout game before 2030. But is that game Fallout 5 and what we expect? I doubt it. I'm thinking more spin-off, something else. I'm not sure. But then again, I think I've said this before, I could be completely wrong, because I've just talked about the success of Fallout 76, and we know ESO is successful as well, and perhaps both of those franchises do so well and generate so much income that Xbox is fully prepared to subsidize and take the risk on the epic Bethesda games, because if 300,000 people are buying a copy on PC, that justifies it in itself, because they're already getting so much money from Game Pass subscriptions and people paying for people paying for Fallout First. I know Eric has Fallout First. He's definitely not the only person that does. people buying atoms. You know, the money adds up, and ESO does very, very well from what I understand. And Fallout 76 does decently well. It's clearly doing so well they're able to justify adding fishing. Yeah, I went around the houses a little bit there, but does any of that make any sense? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the next Fallout game is going to be quote-unquote Fallout 5, or is it going to be Fallout, I was going to say New Vegas 2, not New Vegas 2. You know, is it going to be Fallout, I don't know, Fallout insert subtitle here. I'm just curious. I know we're going to be getting more. I saw an article, I think when I was looking for Fallout news. I promise I will get to gameplay stuff in a sec. Someone wrote an article very recently. Here we go. Literally a day ago. This is from the Comic Universe, and the headline to this is it's terrifying to think about how long it'll be before Fallout 5 is released. Now, I didn't read this article, but I did just see this headline, so I read that and thought, okay, so there's an opinion piece. I'm a huge Fallout fan. Scary to think about the next iteration. We're heading into 10-year territory since Fallout 4. Bethesda's working on Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, people are speculating. Yeah, so this person says if Fallout hasn't even started a script or the production phase, we could easily be looking at 2035 and onwards. I mean, they're right. They're not wrong. But I don't believe I don't believe that's what they're working on right now. I believe they have restructured to work on Fallout. And this is, I have no insight at all. This is just like an educated guess. I would be stunned if there isn't a new Fallout game before 2030. This person is saying how long before Fallout 5 is released. What is Fallout? Will we ever get a Fallout 5? You know, I don't know. Gaming's changing, and it's very interesting to see. And perhaps Eric and I will have a bigger conversation about it at some point. But yeah, that went off the rails a little bit there. I was just trying to talk about Switch 2 and why we haven't had a Fallout port, but hopefully you understood where I'm coming from. Anyway, so what have I been playing? Before I get to the Ghoul stuff, because yes, I've been playing Fallout 76. I have been playing, ladies and gentlemen, Fallout 4. I've been playing quite a bit of Fallout 4. As I keep mentioning, I'm new to the PC world, so I'm replaying Fallout 4. I'm diarising my playthrough, because this is going to take a long time, but this is a big year. 2025 is the 10-year anniversary of Fallout 4. This is a big year, and there is a lot to say about Fallout 4. And I know Eric's played through a few times, and he does stuff with the Fallout feed and stuff like that. I've played through a couple of times. I've dipped in and out and done lots of stuff, played the DLC and all this. I've started fresh on Fallout 4. I am 3 or 4 hours into my playthrough. And I've got a very particular path that I'm taking, and play style and stuff that I'm trying out that I've never done before. For basically I've started my anniversary playthrough. That's what this is. And because of time and game time, I know it's going to take me a while. And I want our Fallout 4 10-year anniversary retrospective, which we're going to do. I want it to be one of the best podcasts I've ever done. And, you know, I do a lot of stuff on lots of shows with First Aid Spray and Gears of War and my own stuff, and obviously tapes and Starfield Sandwich. But there's hundreds, you know, of episodes that I've been on across these shows. And I definitely have my favorites. I have stuff that's more fun, stuff that's retrospectives that's taken more seriously. We have review episodes. When we started Tapes from the Waste quite early in the life of the show, we did a Fallout 3 retrospective, which I think I've mentioned before, I'm not massively happy with, because I feel I kind of rushed it. I was excited. We'd started the podcast, and I wanted to touch on I wanted a big thing to kind of kick off the early days of the show with. And, you know, it was fine. We talked at length about the show, and I think we both touched on some great points and gave some good coverage, but it was not what I wanted to be. And I think at some point, when's the 20th anniversary? 2028. This show is still going. If the world is still here in 2028, we'll do a 20th anniversary for Fallout 3, and it's going to be shit hot. It's going to be a million times better than those early days. I've learned a lot since then. But Fallout 4 is this year, 10-year anniversary. Eric and I will do some big retrospective on that, which I've sort of planted the seed with him. I'm like, look, we're going to do this year. And yeah, I've started my anniversary playthrough because I'm going to be taking my time, diarising it and picking it apart bit by bit. I'm going to rope in a few things from some other people as well. And I'm sure we will not be the only people celebrating Fallout 4. As you know, lots of great Fallout podcasts out there. I am very excited to see what people do. And I cannot, I don't think we're getting the show this year. We're not getting season 2 of the show this year. We've probably got to wait till early next year for that, or spring next year, which is fine. But in terms of a big event for Fallout, the Fallout 4 anniversary feels like this needs to be a big one. And you see the way, if you're ingrained in the community, you see how they react to the anniversaries and all the stuff that we do and all the stuff Fallout for Hope does, and the way that the main Fallout, PR team and marketing team work with the community and do stuff like, the Fallout for Hope stuff last year was incredible, and I'm very excited to see what happens for Fallout 4, but we're of course making our own plans for what we want to do and what I want to say. I've got a lot to say on Fallout 4, and as I said, not only have I learnt a lot since just doing this show, but even since the game came out and up to now, I've heard a lot of people say different things about Fallout 4, and that game, that has been on a hell of a journey, that game. And it continues to be on a journey. And yeah, it's just kind of, what is it now? It's April. It'll be here before you know it. We've just got to get to November? God, now I can't even remember the date. Fallout 4. I want to say November 15th. Is that right? 10th of November, 2015. I was 5 days off. So brace yourselves. Obviously follow us on different social media accounts, because I'm going to be inviting listener feedback and listener contributions to that. In terms of how that's presented, we may do a couple of episodes. We may do like a retrospective, and then we may do a community episode, but just know that that's coming, and it's going to be a big event for Tapes from the Waste. We are very, very close to our 100k downloads mark. I think we're like 2,000 off of it, maybe not even that. So we'll put this episode out, and we're probably going to hit 100k downloads after we put this episode out, which is fantastic. And I'm going to do a big celebration about that. The next big thing this year, there's going to be other episodes before it, but the Fallout 4 retrospective. And I'm hyping this up. I know people say you don't want to hype things up too much and then not deliver. I'm going to deliver, because I'm going to make myself accountable to deliver. I love what we've done with this show, and there's been times where this has been a struggle. I feel like, am I, quote unquote, a real fan? I see the stuff other people are doing, and it makes it very difficult to continue, to be honest with you, sometimes. But all I know is, when I fire up and play Fallout, like I've been doing with Fallout 4 recently, I'm just as in love with it, if not more in love with it than I ever have been. That's why it's going to be a special anniversary episode. So yeah, look forward to that. Please look forward to that. So I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4. Very exciting. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows as well, which I've been having a great time with. A little bit of Atomfall 2, which I'm struggling to make headway on, but I'm going to keep trying. What else was I playing? I've been playing some Doom 2016 because I'm excited for Doom the Dark Ages. And yeah, just getting in a bit of game time here and there where I can. But before I hand over to Eric, who's going to do a big deep dive on the Ghoul update for Fallout 76, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. And I promise it's probably not going to go on as long as my rant there about Fallout 4. But, well, it wasn't a rant, was it? It was a hyperbole. Hyperbole, is that right? Is it hyperbole or hyperbole? Hyperbole, I don't know. I'm an idiot. The Ghoul update is here. You will have heard me on previous episodes saying this is what's getting me back into Fallout 76. Speaking of journeys and journeys with games, this is another one. And I suppose I'll say right off the bat, Eric plays Fallout 76 more than I do. He is a subscriber to Fallout First. I have had some of the best times with Fallout ever in Fallout 76. But then I have to be honest, I've had some of my more disappointing times with the Fallout franchise, with Fallout 76. It's definitely been up and down, peaks and troughs. It is a game that, despite me persistently trying to play it solo and get that experience I want that I get from the other Fallout games, it's a game. It's a multiplayer game. You can play it by yourself, and if you start today solo with Fallout 76, there is 100 hours of content that's going to keep you busy solo and you'll experience. I'm past that mark now. I have done the bulk of what there is to do in Fallout 76, so I'm always looking for something new to do in Fallout 76, which is why I got excited for this update. And yeah, I'll sort of round up some thoughts in a second. But the Ghoul update itself, it is here. I've been very hyped for it because it's what's bringing me back. In short, it is very short. It's a small. It's not a small update. That's the wrong thing to say. There is a lot of. There's some new mechanics and stuff that has gone into this update. This is a substantial update. It is not substantial in the way of questline story stuff. It's more gameplay cosmetic stuff, which is fine. And maybe this is on me. I think I was just expecting a little bit more quest stuff. It has a quest it does to introduce you to the new mechanic and to ghoulify yourself, which is very good. It is good, and but it's just short, and I kind of found myself excitedly booting up the game, going through the process, going through the quest, and turning my character into a ghoul. I should say my character, so I turned my main character, excuse me, the character that I started way back when Fallout 76 launched. I do have another character as well. Technically, I have 3 now because I have another character on console and I have a PC character. But the PC character I've literally played with, for like an hour and a half or something like that. But what was I saying? Yes, this is my first character, ghoulified, done, and then it was kind of over, and it's more just like, okay, now. Imagine like a new loadout coming to your game with some perks and stuff. That's what this is. And it is good. It is fun. It's interesting. And I was sort of laughing at some of the stuff that was done, and the way it's presented and the way it's implemented is superb. It's seamless. It fits right in with the game. I suppose in terms of ghoulifying myself and all the stuff that would come with that, it delivers on everything I would want from that. Some of it was a little bit confusing. I wasn't really sure how the feral meter was working and stuff, but you get your head around it, and it delivers. But I suppose maybe I was, and I know I've said this before and I say it a lot. The big stuff for Fallout 76 for me was like the Brotherhood of Steel updates, the quest lines, Wastelanders, the Steel Dawn, Steel Rain, all that stuff. That was the mind-blowing stuff. And the what was the other one after the expeditions? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. Where you do the quest line with the I only finished it quite recently. Actually, was the one where you've got to get the blood to cure the addict character. All the names are going out of my head. I literally finished it recently because I got quite far in that quest line, and then the last 2 I just didn't do. It was the one before the big map expansion. Anyway, that update, that was way more story, and the map expansion update, the story, loads of story came with that. All that stuff, amazing, way more up my alley, delivered a lot more gameplay time. This was more of a functional, as I say, a little bit of a gameplay update rather than expanding quest lines and stuff like that, and sprawling quest lines, which is fine. It's just not what keeps me playing Fallout 76. So, huge kudos for the update. It's superb. It's just not going to keep me playing, because this is, as I've said, it's a multiplayer game, and Eric is very much somebody who plays a lot more with people from the community. I do not. That's fine. But I sort of like, right, I've experienced the Ghoul stuff. It's cool. I really like it. But I'd much rather go and get on with my Fallout 4 replay now, which I just get a lot more out of. So, yeah, a very important update and a great one. And something that's I know Eric touches on is, like, if you're new to Fallout 76, like, he raises some points about, like, when you ghoulify your character, different other characters are going to react to you differently as well. But because I've done all of the quest lines, with Wastelanders and the characters that you meet on that and stuff, it makes no difference to me, because I've done all of that, and I'm not really revisiting those locations, to be honest. But if you're playing it for the first time or going through with a new character, then doing this will have a much bigger impact on your playthrough and your play style. So that, I can see it working immensely well in bringing a lot more to the game. But because I've made my character a ghoul after I've kind of done everything, it doesn't really change much for me, apart from get me some cool photos. And yeah, so I know it sounds like I'm being really negative. I'm really not trying to be negative. I'm just saying that this is how I digested this update. It's huge thumbs up. It's double thumbs up. But it's not an update that's going to keep me playing for hours and hours and hours, because that's not what I do anyway. If you already play for hours and hours, then yeah, it's fine. It's going to add a lot more. But Fallout 76, I'm more and more, I'm just, when these updates come out, I'm just kind of reminded, yeah, it's a dip in, dip out game. It's not a game that I, what do they call no life? I don't know life Fallout 76. I play other stuff. And then Eric plays other stuff as well. I don't want to say he's no lifing it. He's not. He just plays it a lot more than I do. Which is good, because it means he gives a lot to this show in terms of Fallout 76, and maybe I bring some other stuff. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me if you think I'm wrong. But would love to know what you guys think about it. Let us know in the comments, in Spotify comments, or on YouTube, or on social media. But that is about it for me. I'm going to be back at the end to do a quick outro. Eric, like I say, I think he's got nearly 40 minutes of chat on this, so please enjoy that. Kick back, relax. God, I've been going for like 40 minutes as well, so bumper episode today. Thank you as always for indulging me. Gonna hand over to Eric. Take it away, Eric, and I will be back for the outro.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. So yeah, we can now play as a ghoul, and I have a lot, so we'll definitely get into this, all the ins and outs of it. But yeah, first let's talk about how you can become a ghoul. So once you hit level 50, you get a quest on your Pip-Boy, as you have with so many other things, and it is called Leap of Faith. I won't go into too many specifics of it, but I mean, I'm sure that if you are interested, you've already done this by now. But still, for people who haven't or maybe new to the game, because yes, we're still getting new people finding this game all the time. Basically, you encounter somebody who is he's taken on so much radiation that he doesn't have much time left. He's hacking up a lung while you're talking to him. Really nice guy, though. So you need to go through the quest and help him decide whether or not he wants to continue his life as Ghoul or just let it go. And there is a character named Asher who is very blunt about what life for a Ghoul is. It's not fun, and there's a lot of persecution involved. But you can help him decide whether or not to do it. And once you go through the quest, you are presented the opportunity to become one yourself. Because the person who has done this experiment apparently has enough materials to give you the opportunity to as well. And she wants to see more ghouls in this ghoul city that she and the rest of them have been building called Radiant Hills. Now, you don't have to do this. There is the opportunity to walk away. But if you're curious, then you can say yes and take this inhaler. Yes, it's an inhaler. I kind of thought it would be an injection, but it's an inhaler. And step into this chamber that has been leaking a shitload of rads. And then you wake up as a ghoul. Well, hopefully, because there's still a bug, I think, or there was a bug where if you have a lot of rad resistant armor and things like that on, you could just die. And that actually happened to me once. I have 6 characters across 3 platforms. I've got 3 on Xbox, 2 on PC, and 1 on PlayStation. And out of those 6 characters, 4 of these characters are now ghouls. One of my characters on PC, when this was announced last June, I made a character on both Xbox and PC named Matt Shaw. Basically made the same character on both platforms. And the whole intent was to ghoulify him when this was released. So I first did it with him on Xbox, no issues. Then I went to go do it on PC, and he died the first time I went into the chamber from the radiation. But I went through, did it again, no issues. And then, I got my PlayStation, and I basically made my main character on Xbox for PlayStation, and just wanted to have that presence there. And I have no intention of making my main character on Xbox a ghoul. Never wanted to do that to him, but I eventually got curious and was like, you know what? I kind of want to see what he would look like as a ghoul, so I made my PlayStation character a ghoul as well. So let's just say I may be a little bit addicted to making my characters ghouls, but at least I can admit it, right? One question I have for people who have gone through the ghoulification process: whose head is behind that crate when you first wake up as a ghoul? Like, there's just this head sitting behind a crate. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's a body attached to it. But there's just this ghoul head that you can see, looking behind a crate. Like, looking face up on the ground. Like, whose head is that? But anyway, as you complete the ghoulification process, you are taken to a character creator screen. Like when you first make your character in Vault 76. So you kind of have to recreate your character from the ground up, what they look like. Now, you can still keep your hair. There are no facial hair options if you're playing as a male character, but everything else is there. Like all the normal hair options are there. There's 2 different skin options. There's one that's like normal ghoul, and then there's one that's kind of like a smoother ghoul skin. There are different shade options for that. There's tattoo options for your face now. My character Pyro from the Fallout Feed Roundtable is he's got a Mothman tattoo on his forehead because it's kind of a running joke with him that he's always being attacked by Mothman. There are different skin, like scar and burn options available. Like Matt has an exposed right cheekbone. And my PlayStation character, I gave him scratches that went across his face. One thing that kind of annoyed me, Pyro and Matt, before they were ghouls, both had scars. Matt had a scar that went down along his nose, and I think Pyro had a scar that went down along his left eye. Those scars are not there. So I was kind of hoping to give them the same scars that they had before. I don't know why those aren't a thing for when you're a ghoul. Just kind of nitpicking there, but it would have been nice had he had those scars followed him into ghoulhood. So after you are now a ghoul, you make your character. Radiant Hills is now unlocked to you. There is a door in that facility, in the cave where you become a ghoul, that takes you to Radiant Hills, so you don't have to fast travel, which is nice. Now, it is a player hub. It's a free fast travel location. I don't think there are any vendors there, though. I would really appreciate having a vendor there, because every player hub should have one. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have found one, let me know. But as far as I know, there aren't any vendors. There's other things there, like there's armor benches, stash boxes, things like that. There's a reactor that puts out radiation for you, because once you're a ghoul, you can boost your health by becoming irradiated. Like, you have your normal health bar, but then once you are irradiated, there's a perk card for this as well, that has to do with glow. But once you collect enough radiation, like if your boosted health meter is capped off, then you glow a bit. And so there's a reactor there where you can take in rads. There is the downside with ghouls that has been talked about, where certain NPCs won't like you anymore and don't trust you. This is mainly contained to certain locations that have to do with the main quest, and other like big quests like Atlas Observatory, like the Brotherhood of Steel obviously wouldn't take kindly to ghouls. The White Spring does, which thank God, because I'm constantly going into the White Spring, because that's where the mall is. But also, the White Spring Resort has some places that have things that I collect for dailies, like teapots, board games, cigarette, like smoking paraphernalia. That stuff is in the White Spring Resort. So I'm glad that they accept ghouls. There's been a lot of backlash about this in the community, by people who think it doesn't really make sense that certain places like Foundation and the Crater, that especially the Crater, that have ghoul NPCs walking around, won't take you without the disguise. In my mind, like, I've heard other people explain this, like Jessica Starr, who have said it's not that they don't trust ghouls, it's that they don't trust unknown ghouls. So that makes sense. Like, yeah, Lucky Lou, they've been around Lucky Lou for ages, but some other unknown ghoul coming in that they're not familiar with, who's to say that those ghouls won't go in and wreak havoc? But you can get around this by being set up with the disguise. And there's a character in Radiant Hills that you go to for this named Jaye. Jaye. She runs a salon. So if you fast travel into the interior of Radiant Hills, it's right there on your right. So you talk to her and you put the disguise on, and the disguise looks ridiculous, of course, but that's part of the fun of it. And then you can go around into these places without any issues. One other thing about the disguise, though, like, if there are NPCs that roam around, like Brotherhood of Steel, and if they see you without the disguise on, like the Brotherhood initiates or hopefuls that are in front of the Wayward, if they see you without the disguise on, they will attack on sight. One of my camps that I have with my main character on Xbox is right by a random spawn location. There's a bunch of semis. It's not a bunch of semis. There's like one semi, But it's right there on this road in the Savage Divide. And if you've seen me play on stream, you've probably seen it. So more often than not, what happens is there'll be some lower level enemies like Scorched or maybe super mutants or something like that, and they'll attack you. And then after a few seconds, a cryptid will show up and just kill everything. Sometimes those are Brotherhood initiates that are being attacked. And so if I happen to be a ghoul and those guys would see me, they would attack me. So yeah, you use this disguise to keep that from happening, or to get into these locations that would otherwise turn you away if you're a ghoul. The biggest issue, like the biggest complaint that I have about the disguise isn't the fact that you have to have somebody put it on. It's the fact that you have to go back to this person to have it taken off. Like, that is a pain in the ass. Like, I don't understand why I can't take this off myself. Like, seriously, the fact that you have... It's one thing that I have to go to this... It's bad enough that you have to go to this person to have it put on, which, is okay for the first time. Like, I understand, like, going to the person to get the disguise, yeah, that's fine. But having to go to this person every single time to have it put on or taken off is such a pain. So, to be honest, since I did it the first time, I've just said to hell with the disguise. So, I've also heard people say that really they wouldn't turn their character a ghoul until they've completed some of these big storylines, like Wastelanders or, the Steel Dawn, Steel Rain. And I can get behind that. Not say I did make my character on PlayStation a ghoul as soon as they hit level 50. But you know what? I've gone through Wastelanders several times at this point. 3 times on Xbox, once on PC. I don't really plan on going through Wastelanders on PlayStation anytime soon. Not to say that I won't, but it'll be a while before I do, because I just completed it twice recently on Xbox with my 2 alts. So I'm good for a while. But if you do plan on doing Wastelanders sooner rather than later, you might want to hold off on making your character a ghoul. So I mentioned the RADS meter, like the irradiation meter. Give me a second while I take a sip of my coffee here. Let's talk about the feral meter, or as I've heard other people say, it's not really so much a feral meter, because it'll, like, when it's completely full, you are 100% sane, but if it drops all the way down to 0, you're feral. So really it should be called a sanity meter, but everybody's been calling it a feral meter. So there are some positives and negatives to being sane or being feral. So let's get into those. So for the most part, when your feral meter is all the way up, or sanity meter, I should say, you're basically playing as you normally would with non-ghoul characters. So, like, your perception is the same, endurance and all that is the same. You get your health boost, things like that. So you can go around using the weapons you normally would. But the more that it drops, the more that your endurance drops, your strength drops, your max HP, AP, all that drops. But your melee damage really goes up. The more feral you are. So I know a lot of people who don't really care about that. They just let their character go feral and they go nuts with melee weapons. I've actually done that with a few of my characters, and I actually really enjoy it. I've got some pretty good Deathclaw gauntlets going with these characters. A couple of them actually have the Unstoppable Monster, which has been pretty good. the way that I would describe playing as one of these characters. Now, I don't have any firsthand experience because I haven't actually played like this, but the best comparison that I can think of with this would be like a bloody build. You're kind of a glass cannon, at least from my experience. Like, you do pretty good damage, but you're pretty squishy. Now, maybe that is me. Like, maybe I just don't have my perk cards set up well enough, but I do have cards like Incisor, Blocker, things like that going. Iron Fist. On the flip side, though, if you want to stay sane, the way to combat going feral is through chems. So they really seem to be taking a page out of the Fallout TV show's book here. They basically want you to be a junkie. Like, there's no other way to put it. And the thing that kind of pisses me off about this is the fact that they disabled the perk card that keeps you from becoming addicted to these chems. So you really need to keep some addictol on you if you are wanting to combat going feral. They do give you a drug that's called the Fix, of course. Another nod to the Fallout TV show here. But I was told about this legendary perk. I don't know why I never looked into it before. Basically what it does is it will every so often spawn a survival syringe into your inventory, and this actually cures a big chunk of your ferality, if that's actually a word. It is now. Ferality. So that's nice. I'm trying to keep one of my ghoul characters sane, if possible. But it's been fun. I don't really like taking chems. I've never been a big fan of it in the Fallout games. I mainly just use it for caps. But yeah, like, if we're going to be constantly taking these chems to keep us from becoming feral, like, disabling the perk card that keeps us from being addicted is kind of a dick move. Like, come on. So, like I said, a lot of my friends who are playing as ghouls have just kind of said fuck it to stay insane. They just make their characters go feral. And you know what? I actually have had a lot of fun going feral with a few of my characters. Like, my PlayStation character has no chance of staying sane, really, because he's still a low level. But it's been fun. Just going around using a Deathclaw Gauntlet or whatever good melee weapon that you've got, and I've gotten used to dying though, because like I said, you're kind of a glass cannon. Rads, yeah. So keeping your rads up is definitely a good thing to do. So there are a lot of ways to do this. They have given us a couple of things in the Atom Shop that help, and the season rewards. The thing is, there aren't nearly as many season rewards that provide rads as we would like, and the ones that do are a little slow for most of our tastes. Like things like the Ultrasight furniture and the Goo hot tub. Like, why don't those produce rads? I mean, I get the furniture, I guess, because the Ultrasight pillar that we've had in our camp items, that never put out rads. But Ultrasight in general typically does. I mean, just go play the Gleaming Depths raids. Like, there's radiation constantly and poison damage coming from the Ultrasight stuff in the raids. But yeah, like the Goo hot tub, why the hell does that not put out rads? That would be the perfect thing to do it with. Just soak in the hot tub and soak in the rads, but no. But like I said, there have been a few things that have been given to us through the season rewards that produce rads, like the slime cake. That's basically like the birthday cake they gave us a couple of years ago for the birthday of Fallout 76, like that blue cake that we got. But this is the cake, that cake covered in slime. And, you know, it'll produce slices of cake over time, and you just eat it and get some rats. There is also the toxic goo collector that kind of looks like a little mini fridge, and it'll produce toxic goo for you. But there have been a lot of people that are now going back to doing West Tech runs and collecting toxic goo from the vats and the little area where the rat arches are that's kind of flooded. That is where you can get toxic goo, because, yeah, you only get, that thing only produces like up to 4 toxic goo. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not a whole lot, but hey, you know what? It's something. We also just got something from the Atom Shop that is a blood pump machine. It kind of looks like a transfusion machine. So there's a guy on a gurney, or, you know, a person on a gurney, and there's this little blood pressure cuff looking thing that's next to it, and that'll produce 140 rads, which is pretty significant. The problem is that it takes time to recharge. How much time? I don't know, but it is a long ass time, because I'll go up to it, you know, a good bit of time later, and it still says it's recharging. But it is nice that they gave it to us, so that's been cool. Now, of course, it's an Atom Shop item, so you have to pay for it, but if you're willing to, it's not a bad option. A lot of people also have been talking about the Foundry Smelter, and that is probably the best item that I've come across. The problem is that you have to get that from daily ops. I thought it was the pit expeditions, because this is an item that is seen in the pit. And I didn't really want to do another pit expedition. I really love Atlantic City, but the pit, not as much, unfortunately. But I did do a pit expedition with some friends a couple of times recently, actually. And it was a lot of fun going through it with people that you actually know, and not randos that will kick you because they're being a dick. Anyway. But no, you don't get it from the pit. You get it from daily ops, and that's something else that I haven't really done in a long time. I actually did hop into one on PlayStation just to get that trophy, and it was fine. I don't really have anything against daily ops, except that there's the time limit thing, and if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it with friends. So if you do want to do a daily ops with me, just let me know. Because I would love to be able to unlock this Foundry Smelter with my Ghoul characters, because this will put off well over 100 rads a time also, and there's no cooldown time, so you can just keep spamming it until you're fully irradiated. But again, I don't have this unlocked for my Ghoul characters, so I have camps, at least Matt has a camp in the Toxic Valley region right off of a lake. So I can go in, take a dip in the lake, and right there where I am on the lake, there's some radiation barrels that'll put off rads. So I can just soak in the water, drink the toxic water, and take in rads from the toxic barrels. I should probably make another camp in that region with Pyro, but I've got so much stuff at my camp that I have with him that was placed by some friends that I wouldn't be able to take with me. So you know what? He's fine where he is. I have been thinking about building another camp with him, though, because I only have the one. Also, I will say that it is really awesome being able to run around in a nuke zone without Chinese stealth armor or power armor or anything like that. And it's been a lot of fun. I have, done Scorch Beast Queen events in nuke zones, so many times with, not being a ghoul, with my friends from the Modus Files, because of course when you're doing a Scorch Beast Queen, you want to do it in the nuke zone and milk it for the whole time if possible. So especially when we have things going on like, Jingle Scorched or the Sporched, the Spooky Scorched, say that 10 times fast. That's what we'll do, is we'll drop nukes for the Queen event, and we'll do the event in the nuke zone and just take the whole time. So you get so much XP, so much loot. That's actually how I found out that there's a limit to how much you can carry. Was by doing the Scorch Beast Queen events with the Modus Files family. But that's how people have been doing nukes now that we're all ghouls. Well, most of us are. Is we'll be doing the Scorch Beast Queen event in the nuke zone and just running around as ghouls without, the armor that helps protect against rads. But that's another thing, is you don't want to wear armor as a ghoul that boosts your rad protection, because it'll protect you from getting irradiated, and you want to be irradiated as a ghoul, of course. But that's been so much fun, just running around in a nuke zone and not having to worry about dying from taking on too many rads. But that's mostly been my experience as a ghoul. I've been absolutely loving it. Before I hand it back over to Kelsey, though, let's go through some of these perk cards that you now have access to as a ghoul. Like I said, there are some that you can't use now, like ones that protect you against radiation, like lead belly and things like that. Things that you would expect. What rads, of course, the legendary perk is now locked out. But there are some ghoul replacement perks, like instead of lead belly, you've got glowing gut. So let's go through these. So each category in the special has some ghoul perk cards. So let's go through. There's for strength, there's Arms of Steel, basically that helps you handle ranged weapons better. Bone Shatter, so that's like melee. Brick Wall, it's kind of like almost like Sentinel in a way, where if you've got high glow, you're immune to staggering. Radioactive Strength, so the higher amount of glow you've got, the more damage you do. And this looks like it's unarmed, because it kind of looks like Iron Fist, but with glowing fists. Perception, you've got Breathe It In, so there's your rad resistance is reduced more each star you have. Eye of the Hunter helps with your VATS accuracy. Glowing Hunter means traces of glowing blood now have 50% higher chance to appear on animal corpses. That's nice. That's one thing that I've been keeping on me also, is glowing blood. And spoiled food is another thing that I keep on. So I haven't been cooking my food unless I have to. I will. I should probably mention this. So you don't need to eat or drink, but you do get the buffs from buffed food. Like if you have like Deathclaw steak or Rad Stag on you, that will boost your encumbrance just like it normally would if you weren't a ghoul. You don't need it for the buffs for being fully fed, of course, but that is nice. All right, Endurance. So there's perk cards like Chem Diet, Glowing Gut, I mentioned earlier. Chem Diet basically boosts your sanity meter by taking them in. Like it'll give you a little extra boost with that. Radiation Power is you expel a small amount of glow per hit dealt to enemies. Thick Skin, of course, you're more resistant to ballistic attacks. Charisma, now I forgot to mention this earlier, but your Charisma is dropped by 10 points when you become a ghoul. So keep that in mind as well. But there are ways to produce, to help this. So like Feral Presence, it reduces your target's damage output. Glowing One, this is one that I have. You hold large amounts of glow and it provides greater glow to your ghoul companions, like your ghoul friends that are nearby if you're on a team. Moral support is your feral meter reduces 50% slower when you're on a team. United Ordeal is you gain plus you gain 1 to 3 points to your special stats when you're on a team. Intelligence, there's a few here. There's bomb scientists, so you you throw grenades for higher damage output when you're with this. Always love my booms. Mad Scientist, energy weapons do higher damage. Rad Specialist, you intake more rads if your armor is matching. Science Monster, you gain 5% damage for every time you get hit. I probably wouldn't take that because I'd prefer not to be hit, but that's just me. Agility, so there's Action Ghoul, so your AP regenerates faster. Gun Tricks, your reload is faster with ranged weapons. Hyper Reflexes, the higher your glow, the higher your evasion is. And Jaguar Speed is when your glow is high, the faster you run. And we got Luck here, so Battle Genes, you gain XP while you're in combat. That's nice. It's usually when you're not in combat. Faulty Spots, you're able to increase weak point damage. Criticals, glowing criticals, the higher your glow, the more your crit is in VATS. And Wild West Hands is you have a certain % chance to reload your entire magazine when you empty it. And then finally, we've got legendary perks. So there's Action Diet. When you kill, you heal more HP when you're feral. Feral Rage is when you are feral, all of your perk abilities cost less glow. That's something I should mention, is when your glow does go down, like your rads do go down, like when you take in radiation and you when you're maxed out or whatever and you're glowing, that gradually does go back down, so you go to a normal health bar. Like I said, there's a list of legendary perks and normal perks that you can't use that you're a ghoul. I got the list here. So there's chem resistant, drone dairy, ghoulish, obviously, hydrofix, iron stomach, lead belly, munchie resistant, natural resistant, radicool, rad resistant, rejuvenated, slow metabolizer, sun-kissed, thirst quencher, vaccinated, happy camper, overly generous, easy for me to say, pharmacist, mystery meat, quick hands, and what rads. So one last thing before I hand this back over to Kelsey, I will say also that another good way to stay irradiated and to keep your health up is to become a cannibal. Yes, all of my ghouls are cannibals now, and yes, that is a lifesaver at times, I will say. You're in an area where there's a lot of enemies and you're getting dogpiled. Take a few of them out, eat them quickly, and just continue on taking out enemies. So, yeah, I've really taken to being a cannibal with my ghoul characters, and it is fun. I was doing an event last night. I was doing One Violent Night. You know, you make a bunch of noise and you get hoarded by ghouls, and then eventually you draw out the God, what the hell is the name of that enemy? The Night Stalker, which is a Wendigo. And it was only like 2 or 3 of us that were doing this event because it was kind of late. And it was funny because it was me and this other guy who was a ghoul. And he was actually dressed as the ghoul from the TV show, which was kind of fun. And then there was a guy who, I couldn't tell if he was a ghoul or not, but I'm guessing he wasn't. just by him reacting to the two of us just eating all of the feral ghouls that were attacking us. Because each time one of us would do it, he would do like the emote where you're throwing up. It was pretty fun. We were just kind of laughing at him. So anyway, there's so much more that I can get into when it comes to ghouls, but I think that covers the basics, the need to know when it comes to ghouls. So I am going to hand this back over to Kelsey, and I will see you guys in the wasteland.
Thank you, as always, to Sulior for being the glue that holds this podcast together. As I keep saying, I always sing his praises because he does the heavy lifting with Fallout these days, and with Fallout 76, and love to hear his thoughts. He's so, like, his recall and stuff to do with Fallout is awesome, and because I actually don't know, I've never asked him this, if he sits there with like loads of written notes to refer to, but I don't think he does. I think Eric is very much a freestyler when it comes to these shows. He might have bullet points, but yeah, he's becoming a bit of a walking encyclopedia with Fallout, and yeah, I'm lucky to have him as a tag team partner on this show. So thank you, as always. I hope you enjoyed his thoughts and my thoughts on the Ghoul update and everything else today. If you want to engage with the show more, come and find us on BlueSky, Tapes from the Wastes. We do still have a Twitter account. We just kind of use it less. We just post when we've got a new show coming out. And as mentioned, you can leave comments on Spotify, or you can't leave comments on Apple Podcasts. I don't use Apple Podcasts, so I don't really know. You can find Eric on BlueSky, iangold08. Oh, let me check that that's right. Speaking of professional podcasting and having notes, that's one thing I don't have. I'm not even going to cut this out. I'm just going to keep talking while I load up the pages. I am on BlueSky at KDB-init. Eric is iangold08, the same as his other profiles. So, come and find us on BlueSky, and we both. We're always sharing everything we're doing on there, and Eric shares a lot of Fallout stuff and his screenshots and his virtual photography and all this kind of stuff. So just come and engage with the show. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Give the podcast a rating or a review on your podcast platform of choice. And we'd love to hear your thoughts, and keep an eye out, as I said, for this kind of call to action for Fallout 4 that I'm going to put out on our social media platforms. Because it's a long way away, but we're going to be doing some planning for that, and I want you guys to be involved. We'd really love to have some people involved. Keep your eyes peeled. Till next time, I'm going to leave it there. Come and check out our other shows, and come and find us on social media. Keep enjoying Fallout. Keep spreading the Fallout love, all that stuff. Until next time, stay safe out there, Wanderers.